Howdy, howdy everybody. Welcome to a new video. Um, we're gonna do a top 10. I put a poll up in the community tab and you guys all wanted to see some top 10s, so we're gonna do some. So as you can see, this time around we're gonna do my top 10 robots in fiction. So I'm gonna say a quick word of prayer and then we can actually get into the list. So Father, I ask that you let this be something interesting for them to watch. Let it bring them a good time, and bring them to know you. And it's your son Jesus' name I ask this. Amen. Alrighty, guys. So, top 10 robots in fiction. Alright, simple enough. Number 10 is going to be Rob the robot. Now, for those of you who don't know, Rob used to be a actual thing. It was like a quote-unquote toy. But I think Rob stands for Robotic Operating Buddy, but it basically acted as a free player too for early Nintendo, for the Nintendo Entertainment System. I can't talk. See? There you go. That's what it actually looked like originally. Now, I know it's not your typical robot, but it did get more upgraded feeling to more of an actual robot in Super Smash Bros., where he first appeared as just normal enemy cannon fodder, and then he actually got his own playable character. So, but Rob the robot. I don't know if I have a whole lot else to say. He's relatively simple for robots. There's not much to him. So, moving on. Number 9. Astro Boy. Now, Astro Boy, I like Astro Boy. He's the whole franchise is entertaining. I'm not into it a whole lot, but I do like it. So, I like him a little bit more than Rob. Rob is only in Smash. But anyways, Astro Boy was created. So in the whole origin story for Astro Boy, this guy lost his son. He made a robot version of him and equipped him with all kinds of crazy weaponry and whatnot. And now Astro Boy goes around saving the world from other robots. He can fly with his feet. Well, his feet turn into rockets. He can fly. He gets arm cannons. He's got all kinds of crazy weaponry and whatnot. But the reason he's not up higher, he is relatively simple looking for a robot. He's a kid. Not much going on there. But it is fun. So I do like it. Number 8. The Terminator. Now, I probably don't need to introduce anyone to the Terminator. But for those of you who aren't aware, the Terminator came from the future, was created by an AI in the future to wipe out humanity. And then they have all kinds of crazy weaponry too. And look at them. They're just so epic. One got sent in the past, tried to kill a specific person, and that's the Terminator we all know. But the giant robots, they look really cool. In the movies, they're very epic, and they can take a lot of hits and just keep going. And then and then the one we all know is Arnold Schwarzenegger as the Terminator, which was really cool. I'm not complaining. So, number 7 is going to be Mega Man. I've only recently gotten into Mega Man, but I know a lot of Mega Man, and he's really cool. It's a simple design, but he's more interesting than the Terminator. The Terminator is very one note. They kill things, and that's about all they do. But you guys probably know what Mega Man is, but Mega Man can copy all his other opponents' weapons and whatnot. So like all these different robots are robot masters he has to beat up. Gets all kinds of different looks and cool power-ups. These games are fun too. Hard, but fun. You can see a bunch of different versions of him there. And I don't know. If I had to choose a favorite look, I'd probably go with Mega Man X, but Mega Man is really cool. I don't know. I'm spouting nonsense, but yeah. So on to number 6. Metal Sonic. Now, I love Sonic. I love the whole Sonic franchise. And Metal Sonic is probably one of the better villains, or more interesting villains, created as a clone. He's supposed to be better than Sonic in every way, shape, and form. I remember the first time I ever saw him was as Neo Metal Sonic in the kind of opening cutscene for Sonic Heroes. Who was really cool. Like, I really love that design. I like it a little bit better than this one. This one's kind of bland. But he's a pain in the butt in the games. He has numerous super forms, including Metal Overlord, which is the secret final boss of Sonic Heroes. But he's in almost all Sonic stuff now. He's always cool when he shows up, and he's always a threat, which is a welcome change with some of the enemies in Sonic. You don't take them seriously anymore. So, number 5. Now this is a funny one. So number 5 will be Zane from the Lego Ninjago cartoon. Spoilers, I suppose, for anything. I don't know. But he may look like a normal Lego person, but he's actually a robot. Comes to find out later in the show. He's got his chest opens up, and you can play with, and he's got different switches that turn stuff off and on. But he's a ninja. Ninjas are awesome. He controls ice, so like he can freeze you, shoot ice with his shurikens. He's just really cool, and he's very entertaining, as you can tell. The entire Ninjago cartoon was amazing. Well, except for the modern stuff, but we're not getting into that right now. Right now, we're just talking about the robot. He doesn't feel like a robot most of the time, but he's still really cool. And this is an excellent way to do a robot without leaning too hard on normal robot nonsense. And there you can see a picture of him without half his face covering, showing the robot side. So, Lego Ninjago Zane. Probably no one ever expected that, but really cool. Love the show, love the character. So number 4 is the Destroyer from Thor. Oh, jeez. I mean, number 1, just look at it. Just look at it. It's awesome. It's really big, really threatening. Shoots giant lasers out of its face. And can't really be destroyed very easily. It's beaten up Thor on countless occasions. And is always imposing whenever it shows up. It shows up and you're like, uh-oh. That's not good. Here's a comic book. Here's what it looks like in the comic book, and you can see they redesigned it for the live action movies. But it's really cool. Super imposing. And I think later on, Thor loses an arm and just replaces it with an arm of this thing. Like, tell me that's not cool. This guy is super epic. And I don't know. I'm not great at top 10s, so bear with me. Number 3, Galactus. Now, this one is a little tricky. But I did put it on the list because it is called an ancient automaton, which means robot. So, this is a boss in The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. It's the boss of the Ancient Cistern, and probably one of the coolest bosses in this game. I'm gonna be honest. You walk into a room, it comes to life, has 6 arms and boomerang blades. Now, I couldn't find a good picture of it, but in the second phase, it puts a grate over its weak spot, and then sprouts legs, gets up, and pulls out 6 giant swords to crush you with. And then the whole point of the second phase is you use the item to pull his arms off and steal his sword and whack him with it. Tell me that's not cool. Just tell me. Like, I'm sorry, this guy is probably one of the coolest bosses in all of Zelda. So number 2 is actually going to be Vakama from Bionicle. Now, this one was also a little tricky, gauging whether or not I wanted to put this on the list. Because it depends on what media you read, but we're not going to get into that too much. But Vakama is probably my favorite, one of my favorite Bionicles. The whole premise of what are known as Matorn, which is basic civilians, becoming a Toa protector, like a really great warrior, and his struggle with leadership, just one of the greatest character arcs ever. And then he gets turned into a monster and has to deal with that whole shebang. It's just one of my favorite characters. He's even in... Now, technically, he was in the second phase of the Bionicle universe, like toy line wise, but in the lore, he's one of the first. Like, he's one of the earlier ones, and he even becomes what are known as Turaga, which is basically an elder after he's done being a Toa, and trains the other Toa. And he gets... all their masks do special things. He gets to turn invisible, as you can see. And he's just... I'm sorry, I probably sound like an idiot. I should probably script some of this, but oh well. But it's just, I love Bionicle. Love the whole thing. And Vakama is just my favorite. And technically they still count as robots because they're mechanical. And number 1 is going to be Optimus Prime. I'm sorry, but if Transformers wasn't at number 1, I mean, I can't put anything over Optimus Prime. Optimus Prime is probably the coolest robot in all of fiction. Now, real quick, I probably should have mentioned this at the start, but mechs are not robots. Technically, they're a separate category, and you will see a list of that, and I'll probably explain it more over there. But, anyways, back to what I was saying. Optimus Prime is a Cybertronian general, warlord. Not a warlord. I guess just general, but he's really cool. If you don't know what Transformers is, they're robots that came from a distant planet, got crash landed on Earth, and are fighting for energy in a civil war. And Optimus Prime is the leader of the good guys, if you can't tell. But Optimus Prime is probably the most epic Transformer in existence. I don't know how much I can actually say about him. And I like all of his looks, from the Generation 1 to the live action movies where he gets a sword. I mean, that's cool. But like, he can sprout weapons out of his hands. I'm spouting nonsense. But yeah, Optimus Prime is number 1. My favorite robot in all of fiction. So thank you everybody for watching my short little video. If you guys like this, leave a like so I know. Comment down below what you thought of it, what you think I can improve on, what other stuff you'd like to see. And if you want to see the rest of my nonsense, go ahead and subscribe like the screen is telling you.